Welcome to the Profitable NDIS Provider Podcast, where we're joined by your hosts, Tania Gomez and Paul Bryan. In each episode, we'll be sharing valuable insights and tips to help you turn your NDIS business into a profitable venture. So whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, you've come to the right place. Let's stop surviving and start thriving.
Hello and welcome to the Profitable NDIS Provider Podcast. My name is Tania and I'm joined today by my wonderful co-host Paul. Hey Paul, how you going?
Hey Tania, I'm really good. I am feeling wonderful. Thank you very much. And really excited to be here for our recap. I love these.
Do you? Yeah, I had some really good feedback about the last one, actually. I had quite a lot of people text me and LinkedIn message me to say that they really liked that we were doing the recap. Someone even said that it makes me more approachable and less scary. So I'm not sure how to take that one, but okay, I think that was supposed to be positive. But yeah.
Everybody listening, Tania is very approachable. She's lovely in person. Okay, so just make sure you go up and say hi next time, okay?
Yes, apparently I'm a bit scary. I guess audit and compliance can be scary.
That may be the thing. Maybe it is. Yeah.
But yes, cool. So the purpose of these recaps is really just to talk about some wins, some challenges, to talk about some things that we can share, and also talk about any changes that are happening in the sector because there seems to be quite a lot coming out all the time. But yeah, Paul, do you want to start with your wins for the month of March?
Yeah, look, March was really cool. We had a bundle of things. Like after February, we had a bundle of people sort of looking at what we did in Profitable Provider and the intensity that we ran. So we did what was called the March experiment. And what I did was we put this out and 14 providers decided to join us. And the whole idea was how much help, how much results can we get 14 providers in the space of 4 weeks? And we did it completely free. Because I'm nuts and I just decide to do work for free for sometimes. And what we did was we took guys through a process which we call our on-ramp for Profitable Provider, and we just helped them get a bundle of results around getting 1 day a week free so they can actually focus on their business. We looked at getting some really simple systems in place. We just gave them a bundle of tools and how to outwork it. So that was really cool. We had a bundle of guys just go, I've never thought about it that way. I've never had that much time in my week, like literally over 4 weeks, people changed their whole calendar and were able to actually have time to go to the networking meetings, to take their kids to the basketball game, to have the time to actually do that training that we've been meaning to do for the last 6 months with their team. All these things, actually there is time if you're just managing it right, and got some really cool stuff done. So that was my big win for March. What about you? You've had a pretty big March.
I have, but before I talk about me, I just want to say how cool that is. What I really love about your programs and the bits that I hear and the bits that I see is just all the cool names that you come up with for stuff. Your on-ramp and you've got so many cool little names and systems. And in March, I actually went to a 4-day training program by Aaron Sansoni.
Yes.
I took Storm and I was really sitting there, like a lot of the stuff he talked about I'd heard before. So it wasn't like I learned a whole lot of new stuff. But what I did sit there and think about was how he presents it and breaks down the information. He uses a lot of breaking things down into acronyms and then breaks those down into pieces. And it really did remind me of you a lot, Ray, the way that you do things like your on-ramp and things like that. I think actually that's a big area that I could improve in my in the programs that we run and in the conferences I do is, come up with some cool terminology and acronyms. I'm just not creative, but I'm sure I can do it. But yeah, my March has been really awesome. March was just huge. So we did our International Women's Day in Sydney and Melbourne. Our Brisbane one has been rescheduled till April because of the cyclone. But we had, I haven't ever been to events that are as good as that. And I know that sounds biased, but even if I hadn't organized it, the caliber of speakers we had at the Women's Day events, I honestly had goosebumps, and I really have no idea how I managed to get so many amazing women in one room.
So good.
I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do an event as good as that again. I'm really concerned that if I do it again next year, it's going to be never live up to how good it was.
Don't tell me you peaked too early with those.
I think I peaked too early. I think I did. Sydney was amazing. We had a great keynote speaker called Dominique Gill, and she owns a $80 million construction company that she started herself, and it's the
Mm-hmm.
only construction company in the world with gender parity and gender parity for pay and gender parity in every role. And she was just, even though she's not from disability, she related her experience in construction back to
Very
disability.
good.
And it was so good and so powerful. And the panel were amazing. We had Carol, who's the chair of Afford, the largest not-for-profit NDIS
Mm-hmm.
provider. She's also the CEO, the first female CEO of Ramsay Healthcare. She's in her 70s, and she was just amazing talking about the different changes in her life between her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and now 70s, and really just an inspirational person that made me really look forward to being older. In March, I'm about to turn 40. I'm not quite 40 when we're recording this, but I will be when you listen to it. And I've really had like anxiety around turning 40. So by hearing someone like Carol talk about how great she is in her 70s, and how she just loves what she's doing, just really fills me with a lot of hope, I guess, for the future.
You've got 40 years of experience to make the next 30 years absolutely amazing.
That's right. Yeah.
That's it.
Our Melbourne one was awesome as well. We had an amazing keynote speaker who delivered a workshop around power and getting back your power for women, and that was just amazing. That was Simone from Kismet, and it was just awesome. And then we had birthday parties in both states as well, and so we had 380 people register for Melbourne, probably 200
So good.
people in the room.
Yep.
And I got so many gifts. People bought me all this stuff, which was so beautiful and completely unexpected. And it was really just so lovely to hang out with everyone. We really created. Well, I guess what I'm most proud of, because it was TGC's second birthday. So what I'm most proud of in the last 2 years is just the community we've created and the network and how great everyone is and how much they love seeing each other. And yeah, we had an amazing panel at both events with some great speakers. And I feel like every event is getting higher in quality for the people that are there, not because I'm getting any better, but because the quality of people in the room keeps increasing, and everyone in the room wants to give back to everyone in the room. And the speakers are like, that was awesome. Can we speak again? And there's just gold, and it's
So good.
I've really tried to focus the events on getting amazing people to speak and showcasing other amazing people, and we're getting there. So, I moderate and I ask the questions, but the gold really comes from the panelists and the other people, and I'm so grateful for everyone's support. So, yeah, March was awesome. I'm about to go on holidays to Japan. I haven't done that quite yet when we're recording this, but I'll probably be in Japan when this video comes out, and going to Tokyo Disney for my 40th birthday. So that's also exciting for March. And the last exciting thing is that we released our Provider Collective app called
Cool.
We had 300 people download it over our events, and we're trying to build it. There's lots of other things we're going to be doing inside it, but it's a free resource for everyone to join. If you'd like to join, you can. I don't know how you can get the link, but I'm sure it's on our socials somewhere. Try to put it in the show notes. It's a free resource. There's got all our events in there, all our programs. It's got a whole bunch of free resources. All of our podcasts can be found in there. So if you're ever wondering like how to find one of our events or podcasts or content or checklists or downloads, everything is in there. And it's kind of trying to be for people to keep those conversations going between events, so they can keep in touch with people and keep building those networks. So yeah, that was my March. It was absolutely fabulous, and I'm really looking forward to April and May. What about challenges, Paul? What are the challenges you're seeing in the sector at the moment? Challenges or the changes that you think we need to talk about?
Yeah, look, obviously there's been heaps of stuff going on in the industry, and it really does hit home when providers are feeling it, they're seeing it. Maybe for some people they're starting to see things that are questioning what their next steps are, and obviously there's changes around registration for SIL providers and support coordinators and all the space in that area, and people are starting to think about the new maybe there's new ways to pivot in their business or the new opportunities that might open to them, but also looking at this idea of, right, well, what does the future of my business look like and where am I going? And so I've had so many conversations with providers around what is next for me. Do I need to stay the course? Do I need to lean harder into it? Do I diversify? And these conversations are coming up very regularly, which, to be honest, is fantastic because they're actually being really now, I guess, proactive about the way that they're planning out their business and not just going with the flow. I think, which has been easy for a lot of providers to do, is just go, yeah, we're just continuing with the idea, going to the networking meeting, providing support, all those sort of things. But now they're getting very proactive about these changes that are happening and thinking about what's my options, how am I going to continue to provide value in this space or in, adjacent spaces, and what does that diversifying look like? So with those changes that are happening, this is new opportunity space and new ways of thinking about how you do business. And that's what I've seen a lot of people really leaning into at the moment. What have you seen as some of the changes or challenges, I guess, that are happening for providers right now?
Yeah, I think similar to what you said, it's really just the waiting for the pending changes.
Yep.
It's just the fear of the unknown of what's actually going to happen. When are the changes coming? That seems to be weighing heavily on people's minds. Most people call me when they've got a letter from the commission or they've got an audit coming up, and it's usually in quite a stressful time. So I'm kind of used to dealing with people going through stressful environments or situations. But I think I'm even seeing that in people who aren't at audit that are, really just a bit concerned about what the future will hold. Payment locks are continuing and payment freezes. They've kind of become a bit of the norm in the space now. And we did that great episode with Resolve about how to resolve payment locks. That's definitely worth people listening to if that's a challenge for you. But it's still, all of these uncertainty of changes, this kind of more regulatory approach. A trend I have seen from the NDIS Commission in the last month or so is when you buy an NDIS business or when you go through an audit, they're actually asking a lot more questions about the key people and really probing into who is behind the scenes of an NDIS business. So that's been happening for a little while, but I've seen it happen more and more. There was a client recently who'd bought a business and previously, when you bought an NDIS business, there wasn't a process. You just kept operating until your next audit. But now they are sending out a whole lot of questions to probe a little bit more, and they seem to be regulating a little bit tougher. And I really feel like this is potentially a sign of things to come in the kind of approach the regulator has. So yeah, I guess they're the main changes or the main challenges is the fear of what's actually going to happen, these pending deadlines, and kind of, it's funny because they've told us a little bit. And I guess it's the same in an organization where you don't have the whole story. You catastrophize it and you make up the stuff you don't know.
There's too many variables.
Too many variables. So I have a lot of people call me and say things like, oh, I heard that on the 1st of July, a SIL provider has to be registered or all their participants are taken away from them. It's like, well, no.
You may have heard that, but, it's not clear.
I had someone call me yesterday and say that they was talking to trying to buy policies off a company, and they told them there was 57 changes in the standards this year alone. And I'm like, it's the 13th of, it's March. And the standards were changed in November 21. That's the last time the standards have been changed. There was changes in February 22 around Module 1, but this client was a SIL provider. He's like, oh, I rang to get new policies, and they told me there's 46 changes and I've got to get all new policies. And I was like, just doesn't sound right to me. So I think there's a lot of fear mongering happening and I think a lot of it is just people trying to cover their risk and cover their asses so that when these changes happen, people are prepared. But with that comes this void of information and they're kind of making it up what they think is going to happen. So I feel like the sooner the commission or the agency can come out and say, this is the time frame, this is the new system, here's the actual detail, then we can get into it and actually figure out what next steps are. I feel like everyone there will have some kind of certainty and some kind of clarity around how much of these changes are going to affect them, and is this better or worse than how it's operating now.
Yeah, I think there's a really valuable piece of advice there. If you are getting your information from the comments section of a Facebook group, you're probably going to be getting some dodgy info. So it's worth having a really good look into it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And the information that's out there is really very bare. So
Yes, oh, it's very sparse. People are just filling it out with what they think and that sort of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
if like there is basically no information. So
Yeah,
if you're getting really worried about something happening, the chance is that it probably won't happen. So just relax a little bit and let's just focus on what we can control right now. And I know we've talked about this before, but let's just focus on providing really high quality to participants. And if that's all you focus on, that can only be positive
yeah,
regardless of the changes that come.
yeah. It's one of those things. If you're always operating at the highest level, then you have raised the tide so high that it's not going to affect you for such a long time. As whereas if you are operating, at a scarcity mindset, you've got all these things, everything's coming against me and happening to me. You're going to be continue to be swayed, and it's going to affect so much of what you're doing. So there's definitely an opportunity for people to rise up and go. You know what? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff up in the air, but I can just focus on what I do, the variables that I have control over, and lean into those as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. What's a share that you wanted to share with us today, Paul?
Well, I've already downloaded the book on Audible that you talked about last month, and I've got that there. It's next in my playlist, in fact, once I get through this one. And I wanted to just share a book that I say read, but I 100% listen to all my books on Audible. So, to be fully transparent, it's called "Never Lose a Customer Again" by Joey Coleman, and it's a bit of an older book, but it was just a fantastic look at the way that we spend so much time, and a lot of my clients have heard me talk about this, is we spend so much time finding clients, but how much time do we spend keeping clients and making sure that they're getting everything that they need and they feel as valued as the day that they joined our business, and they continue to get what they need. And it was just a great approach from how he's done that in his businesses and how he's worked with other businesses in that as well. It was really a great perspective on that as well.
Yeah. I
Now,
love the idea. I love the idea of really focusing on retention. And I feel like if we all, especially in an NDIS business, the more you can have clients or participants that just say that you do an amazing job, you'll just get a snowball effect of more clients. I think we worry sometimes, and I feel like so many people spend so long on acquisition, on getting new clients, on
yeah,
marketing, where if you just do a really great job, people will refer people to you. I actually had a call with someone earlier today, and they're a business coach like you, Paul, and they wanted me to refer my clients to them. And they said to me something to the effect like, "Oh, these are the clients I want you to send me, and these are the types of people." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And they asked me, "What kind of clients do you want me to send you?" And I said, "Well, I'm actually okay, thanks." I'm okay. I get a lot of leads and I get a lot of people, and I think I'm doing okay with leads. I'm not necessarily looking for new clients. I'm really focusing on doing a great job for the clients I have. And if there's other people that need help, of course, I'm happy to help. But
yeah,
I'm not out there selling and hustling for more clients. I'm really just, I know that if the clients I have in my pipeline that I'm working with, if I do a great job, they're going to tell someone else, and they know 10 other people just like them who need an audit or need support with an audit, and they're going to refer me. So my best
yeah.
marketing strategy is actually just to really retain my clients and try to do a good job. So I'm also trying to focus on that in my business a lot more.
Mm.
We actually turned off all of our Facebook leads and all of our paid media in December last year because we were getting lots of leads at cheap prices, but the quality was so crap. And I just can't stand having cold conversations with people that just aren't my target market. So now,
Yeah.
I get leads in other ways, and I get enough clients through the door that are actually people that want to work with me. And as long as you can keep supporting them in the right ways, I think it's, a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, absolutely. A warm audience is the audience that you're working with, and people talk about having a business development manager, but what if you put that same effort and level into the clients you're working with and making sure they're getting what they need and that concierge service, and then they refer on, and people refer externally in because they see what's going on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I've been reading a book this month too. I've been reading another Daniel Priestley book. So last time I spoke about
yeah,
key person of influence, but he's got another book called Oversubscribed, and that is actually the whole idea of having a business that has a wait list that is so successful in what it does that it doesn't have to beg for clients. And it's really a heavily around marketing, but marketing from a client engagement perspective, and really just fine tuning the processes in your business to, like you could do a great job, but never ask someone to refer to you, and then maybe they won't. So, building in things into your systems that ask for referrals.
Mm.
As an example, over the last couple of weeks, we've done our birthday events, and I was kind of like, hey, we haven't got any Google reviews in a while, and that's really strange because we've had like 600 people at events this week, and everyone's like, oh, the automation didn't send out the reminders to ask them for reviews. And I was like, well, let's do that. And all we had to do was ask. It wasn't that anyone was more happy. We just had to remember to ask them for a review, and we got about 10 on the same day. So I did the same job, delivered the same event either way, but just asking for that Google review actually made it happen. So the same with asking for a referral, actually saying to someone, look, can you refer to me? This is the client I'm looking for.
Yes.
Could be the difference between getting that client and not getting that client. So yeah, I would highly recommend having a look at Oversubscribed. I've sent it to all the marketing people that I know and be like, this is the number one book you need to read. And yeah, really, really love. I'm very much in love with Daniel Priestley at the moment. He's definitely number one on my book list. He's got 5 books. I've read them all about 3 times now.
Awesome.
I listen to books too.
You listen to books too? Okay, cool. I'm weird. I often listen to the book, but then also buy the tangible book just so that I have the book. Sometimes they become notebooks and they got like highlighted bits. I go back through and create a workbook out of it.
I do that too. So like Scaling Up and Profit First, I have the hard copy and I highlight through it as I'm listening to it and circle things, because I do think you get the learning that way because the visual cues kind of embed the learning better, I feel.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in April? There's a lot happening. What's going on for you?
In April? Oh, I've got a few things happening in April. I've got a really cool project that I'm doing in April, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, so maybe I won't. But we are setting up a really cool conference that's happening in September, and I'm doing all of the recording and planning for the marketing in April. So maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more next time when I know that I'm allowed to. I'm also doing recording for my book in April. So I've got 12 co-authors for my book, and we're doing all of those recordings in April for the book. And I'm going to do my International Women's Day in Brisbane and our birthday party in Brisbane. And then we've got 2 weeks of school holidays. We've got Easter and we've got Anzac Day. So it's kind of a really short month.
It is. A lot going on.
Yeah. And what about you?
Well, April's going to be a big one for us. So we've just, as I said, we had this on-ramp experiment we're doing, and so we got those crew there. But we're leading up to our Level Up Summit that's going to be starting on the 30th of April. And a lot of preparation is going into that. I'm so excited to actually have you speaking there alongside me and a couple of the amazing people that we've had, again, on this podcast, like Chris Lapa as well. So that's been a lot of prep work. We're putting together the workbooks for everybody there. We're finalizing all the restaurants for the dinners that we'll be having as well. And we've got so much lined up for it. And we're just in the final throes of going, right, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Because, I like being a little bit perfectionist when it comes to those sort of things, making sure everyone's going to get exactly what they're looking for. So that's going to be a lot of my April. And I'm kind of happy that there's going to be school holidays and Anzac Day. It feels a bit of a shorter month because it means that I might just have a little bit extra time to get all those final bits and pieces in place to make it happen.
Yeah. So your summit is the 30th of April, isn't it?
30th of April to the 4th of May on the Gold Coast.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that that's going to be amazing. I think, that's the end of the month, but definitely exciting to get ready for that. I've been working on my presentations. I was working one on the plane the other day for you, so I'm kind of halfway through getting those done for you. But I'm really, really excited for that. And it'll be so good to see Cedar and Chris, and spending 4 or 5 days on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, so from Wednesday night, starting with an amazing dinner and networking, we've got 3 awesome full days of business development, working in the room with all the speakers on your business, getting really practical with dinners and everything included, and then a breakfast on Sunday morning to finish things off and get things cranking in for the rest of your week.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Are tickets still on sale? Where can people get tickets?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can hit actionintent.com.au and they'll be able to get all my stuff, or hit me up at NDIS Business Coach on socials. And we've got all the links out there and available. We've got a few more spots. If you're coming from out of state and want to stay at the hotel, I think there's about 10 rooms left that we've got available. So that's there. But also, if you are local, we have got delegate passes. So if you live locally, you can just come along and be a part of the sessions, come to get it all, have dinner with us, and then enjoy your nice, comfortable bed at home.
That sounds great. Sounds like the best of both worlds to me. I love sleeping in my own bed.
Brilliant.
Great. Well, that's our recap for March. Next week's episode, we're back to the Tuesday, and that will be talking to Via Technologies around change management in an episode we're calling The Wild Ride of Change. So join us next Tuesday for that episode. If you love our podcast, please share it with a friend, subscribe, follow, like, repost, do all those things for us, because it really does help other people find us. Thanks so much for listening today, and we look forward to catching up with you in April.
Thanks so much, everybody. See you later.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Profitable NDIS Provider podcast with Tania Gomez and Paul Bryan. We hope you found today's episode informative and valuable. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a rating, and share it with others who could benefit from our insights. Until next time, keep thriving.